Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast battle report. Today across the barren wastelands we have the defilement of the chemical plant D66, where the forces of Nurgle will face off against the new Drukhari as they attempt to steal the chemical agents used to poison entire worlds. Let's begin. We meet today for our battle report across the barren wastelands. The chemical outpost D66 will be assailed by the forces of the Drukhari and the forces of Nurgle, led by Mortarion himself. They will be trying to vie for position to gain the contents of chemical weaponry that is at this installation, used to unleash onto worlds to bring them to Imperial rule. The two forces are looking to take those today and use them for their own macabre uses. So let's take a look at the armies. Shane has been on the channel before. Last time, Shane's Death Guard Demon Prince killed pretty much my whole army by himself. So now Mortarion has graced his presence on the battlefield, and with the new Drukhari Codex, both forces will array in this Maelstrom of War mission. Let's take a look at the armies and then we'll come back to the mission. Okay guys, so here is 2,000 points of Shane's Death Guard, led by Mortarion himself. So Shane, take it away.
Alright, so I took a Demons Battalion. So it's got the two Poxbringers in the front, 4 squads of 3 base Nurglings. So that's the Demons Battalion. And then I brought a Death Guard Outrider. So it's got the Demon Prince as the HQ. He's got wings, 2 Malefic Talons, the Suppurating Plate Relic. Riven hates that one.
I hate it.
Followed by my 3 Plague Drones. Riven also hates these guys.
Those guys are tough as nails.
And then I brought some troops with them as well. So I have 10-man, what are they called?
Plague Marines? No, Poxwalkers?
Poxwalkers. Wow, I haven't even used them in a long time. So 10 Poxwalkers. I got 2 squads of 7 Plague Marines, keeping it OG. Nurgle's lucky number 7.
Yeah.
They each have 3 plasma guns.
Right, because the sergeants can have a plasma gun, correct?
Yep. Sergeants can have plasma guns, which is a huge bonus. And then they're each inside of a Rhino. And then I also brought a super heavy auxiliary detachment with Mortarion.
Oh, very cool. Who's your warlord?
Warlord is going to be the Demon Prince.
Very cool. Okay, so that's 2,000 points of Death Guard. Let's take a look at the Dark Elf. Okay, so here is 2,000 points of brand new Drukhari. I am loving this codex. So it is a narrative game, so I'm running 3 patrols instead of a double battalion list. And it is a Blackheart Cabal detachment, a Red Grief Cult patrol, and a Prophets of Flesh Coven patrol. So 3 patrols gives you some extra command points. I've also got some allies as well, as Archon Skari, the Blade, has demonic pacts with different parts of the Dark City. So for this real space raid, let's go through the different detachments. Leading the army, we have Archon Skari. He is the warlord. He is armed with a splinter pistol and a venom blade. In his patrol, he has a 10-man Cavalite warrior unit with 2 blasters and a power sword. I really like the fact that the sergeant can have a power sword and keep his splinter rifle now, which is pretty cool. I also have a 5-man Cavalite warrior unit with a blaster. I have 2 dedicated venoms. I have 1 dedicated raider with splinter racks and a dark lance. And then I have 2 ravagers, 1 armed with 2 lances and a disintegrator cannon, and 1 armed with 3 dark lances. In allied support, now I have 5 mandrakes hiding in the shadows, and I have 6 Scourge armed with 4 haywire blasters. So that is Archon Skari's patrol. Then we have a succubus and her cult patrol as well. She is armed with an Archite Glaive, which is going to be the Relic Archite Glaive, which is essentially a Power Fist, which is pretty cool, that doesn't suffer -1 to hit. We have 9 witches with a Shardnet and Impaler and an Agonizer as well. We have 9 Reaver jet bikes with 3 Heat Lances, and rounding it off, we have 10 Hellions with a Phantasm grenade launcher on the Sergeant, the Heliarch. And then the Prophets of Flesh, the main protagonists to this story, have sent their trusty Homunculus. He is armed with a Venom Blade and a Stinger Pistol, and they have come to D66 to take the chemical concoctions back to the Dark City. To help, we have 10 Racks with 2 liquefier guns and a Venom Blade on the Akathist. We have a Talos armed with chain flails, a Stinger Pod and a Macro Scalpel, a unit of Grotesques, a Raider with a Disintegrator Cannon, a Kronos to round it all off with a Spirit Siphon, a Spirit Vortex, and a Spirit Injector thingy. So there you have it, guys. 2,000 points of Drukhari. Let's begin. Okay, we return and we have taken a look at the armies. We are playing out of the chapter-approved mission, Kill, Confirm, Maelstrom of War. So there's going to be 6 objectives to Maelstrom of War and kill points in effect as well. So you get the points on the cards plus 1 point for each enemy unit you have completely destroyed. It seems like Nurgle and the Drukhari both have similar things in mind. Annihilate the enemy and take control of the installation. Let's take a look at deployment when we return. And we come to the battlefield. So, the Maelstrom of War objectives have been deployed. We have one in this area of high ground overlooking D66. We have 2 objectives within the complex, one near the power generator and the crates, and one near the biochemical reservoir. Another one on the high ground overlooking the other flank, and one on the other high ground overlooking the complex as well. There's also one in the forest. There are reports that there's a hidden entrance to an underground part of the complex hidden within the trees. Okay, on to deployment. Okay, so pre-game stuff, guys. I have declared an Alliance of Agony. So I started with 7 command points. I spent 1 command point to make my Succubus and Homunculus take Warlord traits. So you can do that as long as your Archon is a Warlord, spend 1 command point, and you can pick up to 2 characters as long as they're each different to be a Warlord, but essentially for the Warlord trait. So I've given my Succubus a 3+ invulnerable save Warlord trait, and my Homunculus is a Diabolical Soothsayer, so he gets a once per game reroll, and he gave me D3 command points. I did roll a 3, so I went from 7, I spent 1 to 6, I gained 3, so I had 9. And then I spent 1 command point to give my army an additional relic, and I have given Archon Skari the Helm of Spite, which allows him to deny 1 psychic power per psychic phase, and if he successfully denies the power, the Psyker takes a Perils of the Warp. Okay, so Shane is deploying first. It is Dawn of War deployment, and we'll be back after we deploy the army. And just before the battle begins, we have the Death Guard finished deploying first, but they deployed Plague Marines with 3 Plasma Guns. The Poxwalkers is a screen with Mortarion himself and his Demon Prince and 2 of the Blight Drones. Oh, and the Herald in the middle there. Ready to move directly into the complex. On the far flank, we have 1 drone, another unit of Plague Marines, and the Nurglings holding up, preventing the Drukhari from doing too many deployment shenanigans. The Drukhari have answered in turn across the entire battle line, using their numbers to their advantage. The Reaver jet bikes and witches on the far flank, Cabalite warriors with a blaster and a venom, the Talos, Grotesque Incinerator with a Homunculus, and the Kronos ready to move directly into the complex. Archon Scari with the Succubus in their venom. The Disintegrator Cannon Ravager in the middle with the Black Cornucopians, the Rex, ready to move up the open space with their invulnerable saves. Ravager with 3 Dark Lances holding up the flank and 10 Hellions ready to sweep across the flank. In reserve, we have the Mandrakes hiding in the shadows. We have the Haywire Scourge flying high in the sky, and we also used Screaming Jets for 1 command point to bring the Raider with the Splinter-Axe and the Cabalite Warrior unit in from reserve. With that, Shane does get the +1. Mortarion himself, Primarch of the Death Guard Legion, ready to set the stage. Okay, let us know down below what you think will happen as we dive in to this narrative battle report. Okay, hiya! I rolled a 2. And the Death Guard will be going first, unless, dun dun dun, do you think I'll see you, Shane?
Yes, because I seized on you last time.
Did you seize on me last time? It's only fair! No, in Australia maybe, the other side of the world. And with that, Shane, have a fantastic game, sir.
You too.
Let's begin. Okay, Death Guard turn 1. So the Death Guard relatively advanced. Do you have a plan, Shane?
No, not really at this point.
Yeah, just moving up. He's essentially consolidating most of his forces. You know, kept Mortarion back. -1 to hit on Mortarion. Smoke launches on both the Rhinos. Smited my Talos and did a mortal wound. And then got 1 advancing Flamer Blight drone to kill 1 of the Racks. So essentially just holding tight. Maelstrom of War, he did secure objective 1, and he currently has behind enemy lines. Okay, and now it's the Drukhari turn. I get 3 objectives. Let's see what I can do this turn. Okay, so back to the battle after Drukhari turn 1. There was a Blight drone here, and that Blight drone soaked up all the Hellion shooting. I even tried to Tormentor it and do mortal wounds, and it saved with its disgusting resilient. I shot both Ravagers at it, all the Haywire launchers at it, the Liquefy guns, another Disintegrator, the Talos, the Kronos, the Homunculus, the Archon Venom, and then finally died to this Venom over here. Finally. It took almost my entire army worth of shooting to kill that, but it's finally dead, giving me Scour the Skies and First Blood. The Hellions that were over here moved and advanced and charged into the Nurglings in the backfield and successfully wiped them out with their damage 2 weapons to take secure objective 5 on that hill. And the Talos has moved up and charged into those Nurglings, killing 1 with his macro scalpel. In other shooting, the Reaver jet bikes just moved. They didn't want to overcommit, and they put 2 wounds on the Rhino, just with poison shooting, since the Heat Lancers did nothing. So, this is a 3-point turn. I got First Blood, Secure 5, and Scour the Skies. The Nurgle has got a point for Secure 1, and now they're going to draw 2 more cards. But you have everybody converging in to D66. As we move into turn 2, Mortarion looks at the Drukhari in contempt, ready to bring the battle to his enemies. Okay, Death Guard, turn 2. Wow, what a good turn. Just in damage dealing, not points, but damage dealing for the Death Guard. Mortarion got stuck in with the Talos, the Kronos, the Homunculus. The Homunculus took a variety of wounds from the Flamer and some shooting. And then the big mortal wound bomb went off at the start of the fight phase, doing some damage. And then he killed the Talos. The Talos exploded, did a mortal wound to kill my Homunculus. I spent a command point to re-roll it. He exploded again. So the Homunculus died, the Talos died. The Rax killed another one of these little Nurglings. And in the far corner, these Plague Marines got out of their Rhino and rapid fired a lot into the Hellions, but I did spend 2 command points to keep them in the fight. Meanwhile, in the back, all the jet bikes died to Malefic Talons as the Demon Prince ran in and just murdered them all, essentially after shooting in combat. And I have lost 4 of the Witches. There are only 5 of them left holding objective 4. So This flank looks pretty beat up for the Dark Eldar. I still have my fire base, and now with turn 2 coming up for the Dark Kin, I have no objectives in play. So let's see what the objectives are that we have. So Fear and Terror. Score a point if you get an enemy to fail a morale test. Defend objective 5, which is the one my Hellions are standing on right now. And Assassinate, kill a character. Okay, which is either Mortarion, one of the 2 Heralds, or the Demon Prince. Okay, so let's see what happens after turn 2. Okay, so Dark Eldar Drukhari turn 2, and this turn was all about trying to take Morty down. As you can see, I was unsuccessful in said attempt, but I did bring him down to 8 wounds remaining. So I used a stratagem to make my Rex fall back and be able to shoot and charge. They've charged into the Plague Marines in the back. There are 3 Plague Marines left. I also moved the shooting units up here. The Hellions that was surviving moved in, killed one of the Nurglings and lost one, so I have 1 Hellion left. Basically, my entire shooting phase was even brought the Splinterax down and the Mandrakes down to shoot into Mortarion. And I charged all the Grotesques in, popped the command points, the Torturer's Craft, to get them to reroll wounds, to try to get mortal wounds on Morty. But Morty passed a lot of Feel No Pains. He has 8 wounds remaining, and in combat he failed to do any damage on the Archon, but he murdered the Succubus. Like, with no remorse. He did like 8 wounds on the Succubus, mortal wounds thanks to Blades of Purification. Oh my goodness, he just cleaved, he cleaved through them. So right now we're moving into Nurgle turn 3. And on this far flank, the witches just hid back here. Very witch-like thing to do. Not at all, actually. They're just trying to not die. Okay, we're moving on to turn 3. Nurgle did defend objective 6 successfully, and I'm currently defending 5. And I have Assassinate still, and I got rid of Fear and Terror because it's very hard for me to make Nurgle fail morale tests. Okay, moving on to the next turn. Okay, turn 3 for the Death Guard. The Grotesque lost 2 of their model, 2 of their number, 3 of their number. There's 1 left. And Archon Skari is unscathed. But we had the Heralds charge in, we had Morty. The Helm of Spite was great. I did 2 wounds on Morty after denying one of his psychic powers, and then the Herald and Nurgle just regrowed 3 of his wounds. But Morty has 7 wounds remaining. The Poxwalkers moved this way, charged into the Racks, gained 1 to their number, and the Racks have lost another 1 in the fighting. This little Nurgling killed the last Hellion. And on this flank we had the Flamer nuke the Witches with 11 hits, and this Flamer only killed 2 of the Mandrakes as well. So we're moving on to turn 3 for the Drukhari. He did get 2 points for behind enemy lines with 3 different units. I lost defend objective 5 because the Poxwalkers jumped in to disrupt my plans, and I still have Assassinate. So I do get 1 more card this turn. He has Defend 2 in progress, so I have to kill that Nurgling. And he has Area Denial still as well, which means if he kills everything, he's going to get some points. And I take Supremacy. D3 points for holding any 3 objectives on the board. Okay, so moving on to turn 3. Okay, Drukhari turn 3. So the Scourge came up on this flank. I have to try and kill these 2 guys. But I was only able to do 3 wounds on that one. My Mandrakes and pretty much the entirety of my army fired into Mortarion. And it was this Disintegrated Cannon that did the final 2 wounds on Mortarion and took him down, even using the last command point to keep him alive from a lance shot. But Mortarion has gone down, giving me Assassinate. Archon Skari had fallen back into the Venom and moved that way. And I did get Supremacy, but I was unable to kill this Nurgling and to kill the Poxwalkers, meaning that I was unable to gain Supremacy. Now, I did get rid of Defend 5. I still have Supremacy in play, and we're moving on to the Death Guard turn 4. So right now I have 3 objective points and first blood against 5 objective points that the Death Guard have. So right now the Death Guard are indeed winning the match, moving into turn 4. Okay guys, turn 4 for the Death Guard. He gained 1 more point for secure objective 6 as the Nurglings advanced across the battlefield. A good, well-placed 6-wound smite and another smite nuked the venom that Archon Skari was in, and now he's in combat with 2 Nurgle Heralds. His Shadow Field held strong, and he put 2 wounds on the Herald. My Rax finally killed the last of the Poxwalkers, and now they're left fighting the last of the Plague Marines on this flank, while the Nurgling survived any damage in combat from the Ravagers. On this flank, the Mandrakes all died, and the Venom was unscathed, while this Grotesque survived with 1 wound left after receiving a punishing rapid-fire salvo of plasma from the Plague Marines. So we're moving on to turn 4, and I have Supremacy in play, as well as 2 more cards. We have Take Them Alive. I have to kill an infantry unit during the fight phase, and if I kill a character during the fight phase, I get D3 points. That's a Dark Eldar stratagem. I mean a tactical card. And Area Denial, the same one that he has. I have to try and prevent any enemy models within 6 inches of the center of the board, which is going to be incredibly hard to do. And with that, we move the Drukhari into turn 4. Okay, the Drukhari turn 4. Okay, so this is now where I had to try and get as much as I could done as possible. So, the Ravagers spun around the flank. I was able to kill both of the bloat drones with blaster fire from the Raider and with lance fire from the Ravagers. Oh, sorry, and haywire fire from the haywire blasters. I was able to kill the Nurgling, giving me supremacy. I only rolled 1, so I got 1 point for supremacy. And that's pretty much it, really. Other than that, I shot a lot into those Plague Marines. This gunboat with 10 Cabalite Warriors, 2 Blasters, and Splinter Axe got 14 wounds on that unit. And I rolled 7 6s, so they were all exploding 6s thanks to Splinter Axe. Really cool, really cheap. 150 points for that little unit in there. Well, 100 and plus the Blasters, like less than 200 points for that little unit. Awesome, awesome unit, that. I like it. And then Archon Skari killed a Herald, taking him alive, screaming back to the Dark City. And I got 2 points out of the D3 for that. There's 2 Plague Marines still left alive here, but as we stand, there's 7 points for the Dark Eldar against 9 points for the Nurgle Marines, because they got a lot of 2-point cards. This means that Nurgle is winning as we move into turn 5. That could be the end of the game. So let's see what Shane can do as Papa Nurgle looks upon the battlefield and smiles. Okay, so Nurgle has taken 5th turn, and well, the plasma gunners over here have fired the Grotesque and ended his life. As you can see, Archon Skari, the blade, suffered an ignominious death as the Herald double 6 Perils smite for D6 damage, D6 mortal wounds, doing a 6. And Archon Skari's power from pain did not save him from the damage. Then the Demon Prince smited my Kronos and rolled double 6s again. And the Kronos didn't make enough power from pain saves, so the Kronos is also dead. Essentially, 2 incredible smites killed my Warlord and the Kronos. The Herald then proceeded to charge double 6 inches and get into the racks. And the racks finished off the Plague Marines, but they did not lose any of their number. So moving on to turn 5, there were no points gathered for Nurgle this turn, as Secure 5 was won, and he wasn't able to do that. But he only has to pass 4 Disgusting Resilience saves by the end of my turn in order to get another point for Disgusting Devolutions. Okay, let's see what I get as we move into the final turns. Priority orders received. Right. This is a... When this tactical is generated, immediately generated bows tactical. The Warlord is the only one that can do it. I physically can't do it because my Warlord is dead. Mission critical objective. I have to secure objective 3, which is over here by my Venom. So that's good. So I can get that one. And hold the line. Have 3 of my units and none of the enemy. So if I kill that Rhino, I can potentially do that as well. Okay, moving on to turn 5. Okay, so Dark Eldar turn, or Drukhari turn 5. Okay, there's not much left on the battlefield. The Haywire Lancers and a blaster and a couple of blasters finished off the Rhino. The gunboat failed to do any damage, put a lot of wounds on, but they were in cover, so the Plague Marines held. Rest of shooting killed 2 Nurglings that were here, and then all the other shots went into the Demon Prince, and he passed every save he was required to make. And in combat, this Herald passed every save he was required to make, as well as the Rex, which means that he got another point for disgusting devolutions because he made 7 feel no pains or disgusting resilience saves throughout the entire turn. So he's up to 10 points. I did get hold the line. I got priority orders received, or sorry, mission critical objective. 6, 7, 8. So I have 9 points to Shane's 10 points. So with a Warlord, though, it might be more. No, 10 points was Warlord. Oh, no, once. You 11 points. Okay, and I don't know if I have Line Breaker right now because I didn't move the Ravagers back that way. But it was Shane that went first, so he's going to have the honors of rolling the turn counter to see if the game continues. And the game is over. With a victory. The Death Guard have successfully taken what they needed.
Well,
Even
still have to count the victory points, so.
Oh, that's right. We have to count all the kill points that happened too. Oh man, you have you have so many more kill points. Oh well, it's gonna be tight. Okay, we'll come back with a count after this because it is kill points as well, which I had completely forgotten about. Okay, and it was incredibly close. We had 21 victory points with objectives and kill points against 22 victory points. And the winner with 1 point difference was Shane! That was crazy, crazy close, Shane. That was incredible.
It was a good game.
Fun game. Any comments at the end of the game?
Demon Prince probably didn't do as much as I would have hoped, but at the end, getting that smite in, definitely
Those
helped.
2 smites were
The 2
great.
super smites.
Yeah. Killing
expect
Archon Skari right through Shadowfield.
Yeah.
Just murdered him. My MVP with the Rax going just holding up the entire flank by themselves. That 4+ save really came in handy.
So good.
And these Scourge actually were really good, just kind of bouncing back and forth and picking wounds off tanks. And of course the Ravagers, they're good workhorses for a Drukhari army. But all in all, let me know what you think down below. We'll have a tactical corner where I talk about the tactics. I played, we both played very just fun lists. So, make sure you leave a comment down below if there's anything else that you would like to see. Share, subscribe, and a huge thanks to all the Patreons that support the channel. Check it out. The links are down below. This is Skari, your grateful host, signing off until next time. Skari out. It's an exclusive. We're playing the game.